According to Chicago and the city mayor, Chicago business is booming. Stores are everywhere, everyone's happy, crime rate's down, and I guess it's time to really start opening up some businesses, right? Wrong. In fact, what everyone's saying that even on State Street in downtown Chicago, guys, it's the Loop era. This is supposed to be like the safest area, the most trendy, most touristy area. But look at the amount of closed stores. For lease, and for lease right there. Why are the stores in downtown Chicago's Loop so empty despite being one of the best places to open up a business? Let me tell you guys what's going on. It's the high crime. Crime is so incredibly high here that every single store basically gets robbed. And that's not an exaggeration. If you go to places like San Francisco, Seattle, LA, it's the same thing. Thieves could rob a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of stores, and get away with it. I mean, California has an insane law where if you do theft under $900, it's just a small misdemeanor. I mean, try to pull this kind of crap in places like Nevada, Texas, or Florida. I don't think people will get away with it. You don't see this kind of scene in places like Miami. You don't see this in Las Vegas. You don't see this in Austin. In fact, a lot of those stores are booming. But in Chicago, this is a scene. Look at how empty it is. And also, people don't dare to shop in downtown Chicago, especially in places where there's less tourists. Downtown Chicago is huge, and the super duper touristy areas is around the Trump Tower. I've been there. That's where most of the police presence is. But if you venture just a slightly out to other parts of the Loop, this is what it looks like. Because the chances of you getting your purse snatched, your phone snatched, or just robbed is very high. And it's very scary. And you can watch this whole entire video on X. But this is what downtown Chicago looks like. And it's not just downtown Chicago, guys. Even the freaking KFC is closing down in Chicago. Guys, this is a massive franchise. Now, if one KFC closes in the south side of Chicago, I'll be like, okay, it's probably maybe the food was pretty bad or the health inspector screwed them over. But when you have 3 different KFCs all in the same location, that's when we have a big problem. So what everyone is saying on X is these KFCs all closed down suddenly is because they're not making any more money. Now the business is great, but the crime is very high, and these KFCs are also constantly getting robbed, employees getting harassed. It's a very difficult place, even for major chains like the Yum brand, to make money. Now, there's also other KFCs closing down in other parts of Chicago, but there's a Taco Bell that immediately opens up. So it could just be a change of taste, whatever. But if you look at Chicago, especially the south side, food deserts, you got pharmacy deserts, and now KFC is basically closing down all their stores. And check this out, Walmart is closing 4 Chicago stores in April, with most of them in bad parts of Chicago. Chicago, if you look at the overall map, it's a very nice place. It's near the water, and it's a very beautiful city if you've ever been to it. I say downtown Chicago looks better than downtown Manhattan because it's a lot more newer and cleaner. But not anymore, right? This Loop area, this place used to be very good. Now you're seeing a lot of these stores closing down. Now the North Loop, this area, North River, it's actually a lot better. And in fact, there's still a lot of touristy places to hang around with, and it's a lot safer. But it's only just this small piece. And we already have a lot of gun violence slowly going to downtown Chicago. And the south side is just absolute crazy. That's why Chicago is called Chirac for a reason. You also have food deserts. Chicago is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on the migrant crisis instead of helping small businesses survive. And now Chicago has some of the most deserted places I've ever seen, with not a single small business in sight type of deal. And when Walmart is closing stores and when KFC is closing doors, these are all brands and companies who have money to burn. And they will stay even if we're in a recession or a depression, because they know once that's over, they'll be making money on hand. But if they keep getting robbed and the crime rate is skyrocketing and they're not making any more money, yeah, they'll just leave. Check this out, 70 shootings each weekend in Chicago. That's crazy. This is like a war zone. The city doesn't even have enough cops for this. You have, hundreds of carjackings every week. Okay, the cops is going to be very difficult to handle that. 70 shootings. Not to mention, you also have a lot of violence, burglaries, stores getting robbed, tourists getting robbed, employees on the streets getting robbed. I mean, I don't think Chicago PD has time for all that. At this point, what people are saying is just send in the National Guard for Chicago. Chicago car theft is at an 11-year high, guys, in 2023 before the year is over. It is skyrocketing. And you kind of guessed it, during the pandemic, it didn't really go up because I guess everyone was in their houses, right? Chicago actually did a pretty decent job in the past decade. It actually slowly went down a little bit, but now it's skyrocketing to levels that we've never seen before. I mean, if you guys thought like 2012 was bad, bro, we are skyrocketing. In fact, at 2014, we could be seeing maybe 27, even 30,000 carjackings. These car thefts, the reason why they're increasing so much is the city doesn't care. Oh, you jacked the car and steal all the goods inside. The police probably wouldn't do anything. That's what's happening here. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. What do you guys think of it so far? And how would you guys solve the Chicago issue right now? See you later.